Hello everyone, you are watching Just Do It Yourself channel, and today we have 2009 Honda Civic and we will be replacing power steering pump on it. So basically the steering is really stiff, hard to turn the steering wheel. When RPMs go up, it gets a little bit easier. So we had the vehicle off the ground, like right now I already have the wheel off. When it's all the way in the air, it's quite easy to turn the steering wheel, so most likely the rack and pinion is straight and not bent. So we will replace the power steering pump. So here's the reservoir. We'll remove the fill plug. We will use little transfer pump and we will remove everything that we can out of the reservoir. So I'll turn on the pump and get that fluid out. The fluid is supposed to be transparent. You can see it's quite dark. So we will remove everything that we can and we'll clean the reservoir too. Alright, so now when the reservoir is basically empty, we will pull this reservoir up. We'll need to disconnect it from the hoses, and I'm not sure if you would be able to see, probably not, considering the light and small opening, but basically there is tons of shaving in the bottom of the reservoir. There is a screen, so anytime your pump goes bad, obviously there will be tons of shaving in the system, so you must replace the fluid and clean that screen. I might need to remove this clamp to get to those hose clamps, return and supply. Let me get that 10 mil off. So small impact, and I will leave all the links to the supplies, parts and tools that you will need for this job in the description to the video, so you can easily find it. Okay, so first I will remove the return hose, and I got this fancy tool recently, so I'll try to use it, and if it works, I'll leave you a link in the description to the video. It seems like it's working quite nicely. I'll just need to let it go. So let me remove that hose from the reservoir. And this is the return hose. Okay, so next I will connect the return hose to the pump. I'll put that clamp back on. So now we just want to remove as much fluid as we can for the few reasons. The first one is we want to change it and get nice displacement ratio, so more we can get out, the better. The other reason is that we want to remove as much fluid, so when we disconnect the pump, nothing is dripping. So now I'll just turn on the pump, and that should suck out all the fluid from the reservoir, from the pump, return line, return cooler, if one exists in this car. The only thing that will be left is rack and pinion. So I will just let it run for now. So at this point you can see that the air started to come out, so I'll go inside the cab and turn the steering wheel to the left and to the right, and that should push the fluid out of the rack and pinion. So you can see it started to come out. Now I just need to grab a key because the steering wheel got locked. So I'm just spinning the steering wheel, and you can see that more and more fluid is coming out. So all the way to the left, and now we push it all the way to the right. And we might do it a few times until the system is fully vacant, it's fully empty. So now we went all the way to the right, one more time to the left. So now your rack and pinion works as the pump actually, and if you don't have such electrical pump, you can just connect the hose to the return line and turn your steering wheel back and forth, so it will work like a displacement pump. The only downside that the return line will be still full, but it's not that terrible. Okay, so now our system is pretty much empty. We'll let it pump for a minute or so, and we'll shut it down. Okay, while it's still pumping, we will remove the supply hose. And I'm not sure if you would be able to see, but there are like lots and lots of junk inside, so we'll use brake clean, spray it in and out, push it with compressed air to make sure that that screen is clean. Alright, so the reservoir is nice and clean. So I guess the main goal is to dissolve all the liquids, oils with brake clean, and when there is nothing left, just the dust and shaving inside, you can blow it with the compressed air, because it's really difficult to get the fluid coming this way. So you blow it from different ways and those shavings will fly out. So we're done with this part. Okay, so now I have my 19mm wrench box side on the tensioner, and we will push it towards the back. This is a hydraulic tensioner, so we need to go steadily and slowly, and it will get loose. Don't rush it. So I'm using 19 and 18mm wrenches together. Just gently go until the bolt is loose. And when it's loose, we will remove it from the alternator. Now we are on the passenger side, and we need to remove those two plastic clips to get the shield off. This is the one, they are two-piece, so you get the inner piece out first, and then pry entire clip. So normally this piece is connected at the bottom with the rest, but this car has seen its better days, so it's broken. Okay, so let's take a look at the pump, the new pump. So we have one connection for the high pressure hose, two 10mm bolts holding here. This one comes already with this 90-degree connector, so we can probably just pull the hose out, and then the pump is connected with 1 and 2 bolts. I believe those are 12mm. So I guess before we do anything, we will get out of the vehicle and we'll disconnect these two hoses. Alright, so I'm under the vehicle. So here's the subframe. There's not much room, unfortunately. So there is the pump, and you can see there's 1 and 2 10 mil on a high pressure line. It goes to the rack and pinion, and there is another 10 mil on that plastic 90 degree. So I think it probably is easier to remove that 10 mil versus that hose, but I will give it a try. So I'll remove those two 10 mil. We'll pull out the high pressure hose. Then we'll see if I can just disconnect the hose by removing that clamp over there. There is honestly not much room to film. I will be lucky if I can stick my hand into there. I know it will be tight. So I will remove those bolts and we'll report. Alright, so that hose is removed. There is just a droplet or two of fluid came out because we pumped everything. Now I'll just try to remove that hose clamp and pull the supply hose off. Okay, so I removed the hose clamp with my new pliers, and it's official. They are awesome. So they lock in place, they hold that bracket. So now I just need to push that hose off. Alright, so both hoses are off. Now we can go ahead and remove the pump. Alright, so now we will remove the belt. Just pull it away. We have to remove those two. One bolt just over there at the bottom, and one is at the top. So there is one, and that's not the one that you need to remove. There's one behind it. That's the one that you need to remove. So you can clearly see this bolt, but it will be like an inch to the left. So I'll get those two removed. I'll just use a 3-inch ratchet to get this off. Right, so the top bolt, it seems like it's easy to access it from the top. So if you can see where my ratchet is, so there is my socket over there, and it's kind of difficult to see, but there is one bolt at the top and it's kind of directly down. So I have my ratchet set up. Basically, now I can get it loose. Might be interesting to put it back, but at least we can get it out. Okay, so there is the top bolt. It was really difficult to remove, so I actually had to stick my hand through the opening where we were disconnecting the hoses at the back, and just put a little socket on top and blindly get it off, since from the top the ratchet wasn't doing any job because it was way too loose. So at this point we can go ahead and remove that bottom bolt completely, pull the pump out. Alright, so the second bolt is out too. They are the same size, so now we will try to get that pump out. Alright, so here's our pump. Alright, so we will put the new pump in, and we keep like all those plugs on the ports for now. I got this one kind of moved a bit out so it's easy to remove, but for now we just, oops, that's way too far. Okay, so we will start the bottom bolt similar as we were removing it. So the camera is on the way. Start this bolt first, then we will swivel the pump up, and that should get lined up with the top one. Okay, so we got that bolt started. So now when we swivel the pump up, we got to get into the right position. So I will get back under the vehicle with another bolt and we'll try to get it started. So the top one is snug. Now we just get this one tight. And now we will torque both of them. Right, so we will do 15 foot-pounds for the bottom bolt. Sorry, the camera is on the way. That's 15. Okay, so the top bolt, because of the pulley, I cannot get the torque wrench on. I tried 1/4 inch, tried 3/8, nothing works. So I have this ratchet and I'll just do it by feel. So it's quite tight now, probably more than needed. So we'll have to go with that. Okay, so next I will install the bolt back on. So we need to make sure that it sits well on all the pulleys. So now we will just compress the tensioners, again going slowly, because it's hydraulic, it needs time to compress. And just put the belt back on the alternator pulley. Seems good. We'll just check. So the AC pulley, power steering pump is not sitting well, so we will get it readjusted. Okay, so double check that each pulley belt sits well on each pulley. Take a quick look underneath and we can see that it's not sitting well on the power steering pump, so we need to push it back. Alright, so now when the pump is installed, still all the orifices are plugged. We will take a brake clean and wash our hoses off, and then we'll just reinstall the supply hose with the clamp, and then we'll install the high pressure hose with 210 mil. There's no room to film, so I will need to get it done without filming. Apologies. Alright, so both hoses are back in place. Let's get under the hood. Alright, so now we need to install the reservoir. So we'll use again our fancy tool. I'm just so happy with it. So we'll get that supply hose in. Now we'll just push that hose clamp. Went a little bit too far with the hose clamp. Okay, the big one is done, and I had a few cases when that supply hose was actually slowly leaking, so you want to make sure that you get that hose clamp right. Okay, this one is installed, so now we can attach it to the bracket. And now we can reattach this AC line, 10 mil. Okay, now we should be good to start filling out the system. So you can use fluid like this. It must have the Honda or Acura marking on it. Same on here, Honda and Acura. It's transparent, looks very similar as like standard North American power steering fluid, but it's not. So make sure that you use the right fluid for this application. So now you can see it sits in the funnel. So we will go ahead and start spinning the wheels to the left and to the right so it can suck that fluid in. So right now our rack and pinion works as the positive displacement pump. So it pushes the air and pulls the fluid. Spin it. The fluid went down, so we will put another bottle in. Keep turning the steering wheel and watch that fluid. So the air comes out, fluid goes in. We don't want to start the pump yet because it's kind of dry, so we want to make sure that it's full with fluid. It's primed because it can put lots of wear and tear in those few seconds when it's running dry. So just turn its wheels left and right to get the air out. Okay, just used up one bottle, starting the second one. Alright, so I'm almost 2 bottles out and the fluid does not go down anymore, so I'll just go ahead and start the engine. So we can see that there is still, oh, now it went down, so now we need to top it up. Bubbling, bubbling. We get more fluid out. Oh, more fluid in, more air out. So I'll actually spin the steering wheel while the engine runs. And it goes super smooth right now. There are a few bubbles coming out. There's still fluid in the funnel, so I will keep spinning my wheels. One thing that you don't want to do to lock them, it's not the best way to get out of air, so you go left and right a few times, but try not to lock it as I just did. So actually it feels quite smooth. There's no pump noise, and I have put in almost 2 full bottles, which are 700 ml in total. So right now we're probably sitting around like 650. Okay, so I don't see more bubbles coming out, so I'll probably just shut the engine off and we'll remove excessive fluid. Yeah, I'll just remove the excess. Use a little syringe. Alright, so it took almost 700 ml, probably around more, like 650 ml of fluid. We got rid of all the air. We got it to the top level. Right now we'll just reinstall the plug. We will put the wheels back on and we are done. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Please check links in the description to the video for parts and tools that you might need. And as always, just do it yourself. Take care, guys.